All right. So this is today's tutorial. It's about SQL1, making ourselves more familiar with SQL commands. And if you download this tutorial, the first section of the tutorial is how to create a query, how to design a query with a specific criteria. You can read the description, but I assume, oh, I did not start the recording. All right, so now we have recording started. All right, so hello everyone. This is our fifth tutorial. It's still about SQL commands, basic SQL commands. If you download and read this tutorial, the first section is how to create and execute SQL statements or create SQL queries with criteria. But you can read this how to design it, but I assume you already know it because we have done a lot of practice about it. And then when you go, you will see that there are around 11 questions which you need to do. Now, this gives you a different flavor, different taste of designing SQL queries. In the previous tutorial, I simply straightforward gave you questions, but now I have created some broad statements about it. All these queries which will be asked in these questions have to be some data that needs to be taken out from database. So the database having 5 to 6 tables is already given in lab number 5, which is uploaded. So I will show you approach. I will teach you an approach how to approach a question if something appears like this in front of you. How you should develop your approach of solving such questions. So I will solve some questions in front of you so you can learn from it. And then if you think this is the right approach, you can use that approach to further solve the questions. To do that, because I do not have Microsoft Access on my laptop, so I will be using remote desktop. So I will be switching to and fro from my home office to my office's office to access the MS Access. So sometimes the screen might appear smaller, sometimes my screen appears bigger, but I will make sure that you see the important things very clearly. Now, the first thing is you download this table, and then you need to see what is the data inside this table. So what we do, let me go to, yeah. So I have downloaded this table, and if I double click this is what we have inside this table. We have author table, we have books table, we have customers, we have order items, we have orders, we have publishers. Let us go inside each table and see what is the data. So if I go to the authors table, as the name suggests, that it will have information about some authors. So we have last name of the author and the first name and the author ID. Then let me double click books table. So the name suggests it will have information of the books. So we have books title, books publishing date, books ID, publishing ID, cost, price, retail price, and the category of different books. And all of these books, their primary key or the ID is ISBN number. Internationally, each book have a unique and distinct ISBN number. All the international publication books that are published internationally. We can go into the design view, and you see there's a key sign here which tells us this is a primary key, right? So we are very much sure now. Customers, this will have information of some customers. So we have customers' last name, first name, their address, city, state, and then some referred ID. That means, for example, if I refer you, Chan, you can go to HKTV Mall, there's a sale out there, or you can go to Fortress. So I have referred you, right? So, and then there's a custom ID, all right? Orders item. Let me open orders item. So it seems that there are some items and there's order ID and there's ISBN number and quantity. This gives me an idea that this has the information of the order items. There are some books because ISBN number gives me ideas of the books. There's a quantity, so some books have been ordered in quantity. Each book is an item, and then there's an item ID and order ID. So it has some link with other tables. Orders. Now this gives me detailed information. It seems that a person who has ordered something and there's an order ID in connection with so in the orders item, there's order ID. So we can track these both two. There's a link between those, there's a relationship between the two tables. And let's say if I go to any store, I order something. So there will be my custom ID. Then what thing did I order will be tracked through order ID. When did I order? This is my order date. When that order will be shipped to my place, this is shipping date. So you can see that some people do have an order date, but their shipping date is yet to be decided. Then we have ship street. That means it's the street where I live, the street of the city name, and the state name, right? And the last is publisher, where there's a name of the publisher who publishes books. This is what I assume. The name of the publisher, contact person, name of that publisher. If I want to publish a book, which publisher should I select? And if let's say I select American Publishing, whom to contact? To do publishing with American Publishing, I have to contact David Davidson. And this is his phone number, and there is some public ID. So before we go on reading each question, it is really important that you should know what kind of a database do you have, how many tables do you have, and what is the data inside each table. If you have a good understanding of your database, it will be very easy for you to design a query to get some information. Now, let's read question number 1. Question number 1 says, create a list containing the name of each publisher, the person usually contacted, and the telephone number of the publisher. So this query is asking some information from some table. Then it says rename the column containing contact person and call it contact person in the displayed results. So as a result, I need to do something. Then it is giving you a hint that use publisher table. It is giving you a hint just for your easiness. But if you have a good understanding of what kind of a database do we have, what are the tables inside a database, and what is the data inside the database, it will be very easy for us to design a query. Now, so this is publisher table. So I will go to my publisher table. This is my publisher table, and there's name of the publishers and contact person name and their phone numbers and publishing ID. Then let me go again to my query. So let me read it again. Create a list containing name of each publisher. Do we have this in the publisher table? Yes, we have it. Then the name person usually contacted. Do we have the contact person name? Yes, we have that column in the publisher table as well. And then the telephone number of the publisher. Yes, we have the phone number of the publisher as well. So all these three information are present. So now let me divide this query into small problems. This is an approach. First, I will see which column information needs to be selected. So this query needs name of the publisher. So I would say I will highlight this. The second information is the person usually contacted. And then the third is the telephone number of the publisher. Right? These are the three important things that is required. Right? All right. So this is an information. that needs to be required. So let me see. Contact name of the publisher is with the field name. Sorry, name of the each publisher is with the field name. Contact person usually contacted is with the field contact. And third is the telephone number of the publisher, which is with the field phone. So now I can start designing my query. So I will say, let me design query number 1. So I will say select name, contact and phone. Contact and phone from publisher table, right? This should be my query. But it says that you need to rename the column containing the contact person. So we have to rename the column containing contact person. This is some processing. And we need to call it contact person. So what I can do is I can use as command, and I can call as contact person. And this should be my query. So let me select all of this, or I will just read right there. I can go to my remote desktop. To design a query, I go to create and query design. It is asking me which table do you want to query from. This is initially a publisher, but let's say I select all of these. I select all of these. And the moment I select all of these, you don't need to select all of these. I'm just showing it for your understanding. We can see there's a connection of publisher with books and order items. They are all 3 linked together, right? There is some relation, right? So this is how it looks. And this is pretty nice. And this is how it looks. But the query that we have to use is only publisher. So in order to design a query, let me first close all these tables. Oh, come on. Yeah. So now I can go to the SQL view to design the query. So I can write this query here. I can select name, contact, phone from publisher, and rename the contact as contact person. All right. So now I can run this, and I have specific set of information in front of me. So that's the first answer. Now let me go to another query. It says from the orders table, that means we will be dealing with the orders table. List the customer number of each customer who has placed an order with the bookstore. List each customer number only once. So let me spend a little time and then try to understand this. List the customer number for each customer. So first I should go to my order table. I can first save this. This query can be saved as query 1, which is from the publisher table. And I can close this now. And I can, so this is from orders table, right? So I have this orders table. I can double click this. I can see there's an order ID, customer ID, order date, ship street, city, and state. If I see here, from the orders table, list the order number of each customer. So the first thing I need to select is customer number for each customer. So over here, the customer number would be customer ID. Customer ID. Customer number for each customer. So that is what it is going to be. Who has placed an order with the bookstore? So each customer ID has an order ID, and then the order item, we can see that order ID has an ISBN number. So that means they have placed some order of the books, so they are linked with the books, with the bookstore, right? Now, it should be a fairly simple query to list the customer number of each customer. I can design a query like select customer ID from orders order table. Simple. Is it orders or order? It's orders. So this should be the query. But then we have some processing, some processing that needs to be done. There's a specific special requirement. List each customer number only once. This gives me an idea that why is it saying like this? List each customer only once. This gives me a question. Is customer number not listed once? Is it repeating or what? So I can go to my table and see that. So we have this customer ID, which is a customer number. And let's say 1005. Is it repeating? Is it repeating? And we can see this is repeating. So we have this customer ID here, this customer ID here. So is this valid? Is this okay to repeat the customer ID? It is perfectly fine because this is the order information. So a person can do multiple orders, and this assumption is valid if you see that customer 1005 put an order on 31st March, and then again the same person ordered on 3rd April. So one person can do multiple orders, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But in the query, it says the query just wants to know the customer number of each customer, and the query does not want the customer number to be repeated. That's why it is said over here, list each customer number only once, just once. So to do that, what we can do is we can use distinct command. When we use distinct customer ID, it will make sure that each customer number which is listed, it is non-repetitive. So let's try this. I can design a new query. This is going to be from orders table, add, and then I can go to SQL view, select customer ID from customers. So if I run this query, it gives me all the customer IDs. And you see there is a repetition, 1005 here, 1005 is here. Then we have 1003 here, we have 1003 here. And there will be some other repetitions as well. So in total, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, almost 21 rows. If I now use distinct command with the customer ID, and run this, now we have small number of rows. So now each customer ID is only listed once. So this is my query 2 from the orders table. And I can save this query. If I ever needs this information, I can simply double click this query and information would be there, right? The important thing over here is, do you see how do I approach a question? I first read the question, then check which table to be used, then again read the question, then I see which columns do I need to select, where that information in the table so I can select correct field names. And then I do processing in the end. So first I see table, then I select specific information. When I am able to select specific information, now I can do the processing. Now let me show you this question. To determine the percentage of the profit. So we need to determine percentage of profit of a particular item. So item gives me idea it has to do with orders item. Now how to calculate percentage of profit for a particular item? Simply subtract cost for the item from the retail price to obtain the dollar amount of the profit, then divide the profit by the cost of the item. The solution is then multiplied by 100 to determine the profit percentage. Now this is the procedure, how to calculate. Using select statement, display the title of each book and its percentage of profit. For the column displaying percentage markup, use profit percentage sign as a column heading. Now, the first question I should be asking to myself is, for this question, which table to select? When I read particular item, it gives me an idea of order item table. But then when I read the subtract cost for the item from the retail price, cost and retail price, I remember I saw those columns in some other table. So let me first verify which column to be selected, which table to be selected. So if I select order item, this order item table do not have cost and retail column. So this cannot be. Then I select this books. So now books have book title, publishing date, publishing ID, cost and retail. So we have to deal with this table, not the orders item table, books table. And this could be further verified because in the third section, it says use select statement, display the title of each book. So in this question, the question is straightforwardly telling you which information that needs to be selected. The first thing is display title. So I will highlight this. This is the information that we have to pick. So we have title of each book and the field name is title. And then it's a percentage of profit. Now, percentage of profit, we do not have any such column. That means we need to calculate percentage of profit because it says to determine the percentage of profit. So this percentage of profit is not present. We need to calculate it. So as the start of the query, what I can do is I can just select and title. This is very straightforward. From books table, right? Now, for the second thing, to calculate this, it says this is a procedure here, right? So to calculate the percentage of profit, simply subtract the cost for the item from the retail price. So the first section is cost and retail price. So to calculate the percentage of profit, I need to select cost field, retail field, and do some operations. So let me first select those. I can select cost. and retail, right? But it's not asking me to select these columns. Let me verify, are the names written in the query are correct or not? I can go here. This is cost, this is retail, right? So the names are correctly written. Now, over here, it is not asking me to select these specific columns. Rather, it is explaining me the procedure. It is not asking me to select, rather it is saying subtract the cost for each item from the retail price. So it should be rather like this. Cost of each item from the retail price. And to make it neat and clean, I put it into the brackets. And then it says, the second part is, then divide the profit by the cost item. So this is the second part. So what I do is I can go here and divide it by the cost, right? And then it says the solution is to be multiplied by 100. So the solution is to be multiplied by 100. And the last is, when we display this column with this name. So I can use as brackets profit percentage. So I broke the entire problem step by step and approach the problem in a step-by-step linear manner. Now let's try to execute this query. I can go here, design a new query, select books table, and then close this, go into the query, and I will show you step by step. First, let me select title and run this query. So we have title from the books. Then we select retail. Let me write it inside the brackets. Retail minus cost, and you will see what will happen. If I run this, we have a result of another column in which we have retail minus cost, but the heading is XPR1001. This is a default name when you do not define a particular name for a field. This is a default field name that appears in MS Access. So now what I can do is I can do further processing. Now I have to divide it by the cost. So divide it by cost and bracket close. And if I run this and whoop, what is this? This means do not panic, do not worry. This means your column size is too small. If you just elongate this column and this will appear. So we have divided, so we have decimal points. Now we can multiply with 100 and we can have our answers, and this is the answer, right? Now we need to rename it as percentage, sorry, profit percentage. All right, so we run this and let this widen the column, and we have profit percentage. So as a query, it appears like a big question, but in actual, when we designed a query, it is just like 2 lines, right? And that is how you approach one by one. And now I will just do one more query in front of you. And in that query, I will explain the answers for 2 more queries. I will do query number 9. In query number 9, it says search a pattern to find any book where title has an A for the second letter in the title and N for the fourth letter. What does this mean? We know we have a book. Let me save this query. Books, let's save and close it. So books table have titles, or maybe, is this from books? Yeah, books table have titles, right? And the books table have title of different books here. Now, right now there may be 10 to 15 books here, but imagine if you have 10 million books. Then how would you search if you have to search some book title? How would you search that? It's difficult, right? It's difficult to search, right? So in the question, you have been said you don't have to search all the books. You have to search for a specific pattern to find any book whose title has an A for the second letter. So let's say we have titles, many titles, and we leave the first letter as it is, but at the second space, we have letter A. Then we leave the second space, and the third space should be N. And remaining name, whatever is the remaining name of the title, we don't care about that. We select whatever comes after N. So to do that, we design a query. So first, let me design a query now. We need to select title from books where, now for every query, you can do multiple ways. Even to design this query, you can do multiple ways. There are multiple ways to do this. This is just one of the possible solutions. So it does not mean you should follow this approach strictly. You can think of some other ways. Maybe you can do this retail minus cost and name it as profit percentage, and then divide the profit percentage with the cost and multiply it by 100. So there are many ways to do it. Over here, this is also one possible answer to this question. So we select title from the books, and then where title and title, and I use like command, inverted and close commas, and I write question mark. That means we do not care what is the first alphabet, but at the second alphabet, you should search A. Then we do not care what is the third alphabet, but at the fourth alphabet position, you should search for N, and then you consider whatever comes after N, all of it, right? So let us see. So let us see and design this query. So we go here, query design, box, close. So I say select title from books, remove the terminators, where title like inverted close commas, first question mark, second place A, third question mark, fourth place N, and then star, that means all. And if I run this, I have just one title, and you can see that the second alphabet is A and the fourth alphabet is N. Now, there could be many variations. If I do this, this means you select all the titles in which, in the name of the title, the second alphabet position is A. If I do this, that means all the titles that start with A and then whatever the other alphabets are. If I say this, that means all the books which end with A. Let me do this in front of you. So let's say I want to see all the books that start with letter A. There are no books. All right, let me think all the title of the books that start with letter alphabet T. We have this, right? It starts with and the first alphabet is T, right? I can also search all the alphabets, all the titles that end with E, right? So it will search, it will take all the letters from the starting and it will search for a position, last position, and alphabet E. If I run this, and so we have two books that end with E. If I want to search a specific pattern, for example, in the starting, it should be, or regardless of the order positions, in the middle, anywhere, I don't care about the positions. In the middle, there should be an. So I use star, an, star. Consider all the words that are in the starting, but then comes an, then all the words after the an. So you see, there are three books. We have an here. We don't care about the positions. That is why we use star. Do we have an here? Yes, we have an here. And Big Bear and Little Dove. And then we have an here, right? So we don't care how many there are and where exactly is the position, so we can do that. So like command is pretty nice and pretty confusing and very, very artistic, I say. So you can select, play with it, and think about it. So all the variations that I taught you right now, star A, or A star, or star A and star. Question number 6, question number 8, you can do that with this thing, with the like command. So that's it. So I have done out of 11. I have done 3 in front of you, and for 2, I have just given you demonstrations. So remaining, you can do it by yourself. They are very simple. I will just publish the solution right after this class, so you can also see and verify. So if you have any questions, I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can ignore my son's voice. He is at the back. I'm very excited. All right. What if we're going to find a book title containing A star? So there is, that's nice. I totally understand your question. It is a very nice question. And I don't have an answer to that. I totally understand because there are algorithms, which is a star algorithm, which is it is a in fact it is like a star algorithm, which is used for shortest path algorithm. So if I want to search a star or something like a end or something like a percentage, how would that be? If a title has it, how would that be? And there should be an answer to it. I've never thought about it, so I will search and give you the answer back. I've been IT director. I have been an IT director. I have designed databases, but even in that context, because for that we were using we designed the databases for 9 different nursing homes by relational database management system. Even in that case, there was nothing of this sort. So, but this is a nice question. I will search for it. I do not have an answer right now. I will search for it and come back to you on lecture class on Monday. Yes. A good question. Well thought question. Sometimes when you're dealing like when you're ahead, uh, you leave it to the students to search for those answers. So when I was an IT director, if there was any such thing, my team would have already done this. So I will look into it. Anyway, if you have any other questions, let me know. And ignore the voices of my son. He is pretty much excited because I've just converted my room into home office. So to train him, I have a put sign of red light and green light. Take a good care. Stay safe. All right. Bye, Connie. Bye, Billy. Bye, Frank. Take a good care, guys. Bye, Matt. Bye, Ting. See you. Bye, Billy. Bye, Sanjay. Bye, Chand.